Good evening. We're going to start our text in Exodus 19:20. The Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. So Moses went up. We all know that when we take a climb up a mountain, whether it's physical or spiritual, it takes effort, endurance, and a true focus. No one just gets to the top easily. We intentionally choose to make the climb. In Exodus 19, Moses was called by God to ascend Mount Sinai. God could have met Moses at the base, but he instead invited him higher. Every believer is called to come up higher, but the question is, will you answer the call? Every level climb means change. Let's look and see together at what happens when we respond to God's call and climb his mountain. The base of the mountain is a place of noise and crowds. Exodus 19:17 says, Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. At the base, the people gather in fear and awe. They saw the lightning, the thunder, the smoke, but they didn't want to make the climb. They stayed where it was safe and comfortable. It's a place of comfort and a place for spectators. It's also spiritually shallow here. Everyone can stay here because it costs nothing to be a spectator, to watch. The Israelites were content to see God's power without seeking his presence. Many believers today live like this. We stand at the base of the mountain, satisfied with just a glimpse of God, but never pursuing intimacy with him. They want the blessing of his hand, but not the transformation or his presence. But God is calling us higher, out of our comfort zones, out of all the noise, to a deeper place in a deeper encounter with him. At the base, you can hear about God, but not hear from God. You can witness his works at the base, but you don't want to walk in God's ways. Charles Spurgeon once said, the closer you get to God, the more everything else loses its grip. But too many of us want to settle for the base and never experience his closeness. But saints, God is calling us higher, to a place of deeper encounter. At the mid-level of the mountain, this is a place of separation and surrender. Exodus 24:13 says, Then Moses set out with Joshua his aide, and Moses went up the mountain of God. At this level, the crowds thin out, the climb gets deeper, the air is thinner. There are fewer voices, fewer distractions, fewer companions. This is the place of separation and surrender. Here, God begins to refine you. What's been weighing you down begins to be exposed. Everything from the base can't be carried to those higher places. That fear, that bitterness, that pride, that comfort, it's too heavy to take with you. This is where you learn that not everyone can go with you to the top. Not even Joshua could go all the way up the mountain with Moses. The climb tests your faith. The higher you go, the more we find that we need to depend on God. You discover the climb isn't punishment, but preparation for what's going to happen. God is stretching you here, strengthening you, and he's reshaping you. At this level, faith deepens. Your flesh weakens and pride dies. You begin to trust God in new ways. You learn to be in total surrender to him. The summit top. This is a place where revelation happens and the glory happens as well. Exodus 24:15-16. When Moses went up the mountain, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai. This is a place where God's glory dwells. This is where Moses saw the glory of the Lord. The atmosphere at the summit top is still, it's sacred, and it's holy. The noise of the crowd is gone. It's no longer busy, but it's breathtaking. This is where God's presence is so real, and the revelation begins to flow freely. At this level, you don't just talk about God, we commune with God. His glory marks you. When Moses came down from the mountain, his face was like the light of God's presence. When you have been in God's presence, in commune with him, people can see this difference. You don't even have to announce it, it just shows, because you truly are a reflection of God's glory. At the base of the mountain, you hear God in the middle. You learn to trust God. At the summit top, you have a glorious encounter with God face to face. God is calling us higher. people of God. So I ask you today in closing, will you stay at the bottom or will you climb and come up higher to meet him? Because I guarantee the climb will change you.